Hello everybody, and welcome to our very first Mindful Monday. So today happens to be the International Day of Yoga. This is the 7th annual one, and we are here today to celebrate what yoga does for us in our lives. The UN this year has made the theme of well-being. So it's important for us to think about our well-being, especially in this past crazy year of the pandemic. And actually, studies have shown that there's been a big uptick in people taking yoga up for the first time, or people really digging into their practice and reaping all those benefits of well-being. So that's really exciting. I'm going to talk a little bit about what yoga is and what it means to me and what it can do for you. But first, we need to do our little mindfulness practice. So I'll be coming on here every Monday at noon to do a little bit of a mindfulness meditation with you. I just thought this would be a great way for you to slow down on your Monday morning and have a little bit of a relaxation session, whether you're working from home or in the office. If you have a busy job, like I usually tend to do, I have active jobs for the most part, you can always tune in later. I'll put it up on my IGTV or on my Facebook page, and you can tune in later for your little Monday meditation. So let's get all set up here. So you can do this from either your mat, a meditation cushion, a chair, or just wherever you happen to be. So we're just going to do a little bit of coming inwards, tuning into what's happening around us and in the present moment. So let's take a tall seat. I guess you could do this lying down like a yoga nidra, but let's be a bit more engaged. So take a tall seat. Make some space in between all of the vertebrae of the spine. You might close down the eyes. You might keep them open if you're more comfortable that way. It's up to you. And just take a minute to settle in to the moment, settle into your practice. Let everything else that's happening on your Monday just sort of fade away. For the next couple minutes, we're just going to be your human beings, not human doings, although we might tell ourselves otherwise. So just take a moment here, maybe tuning in to the sounds around you, maybe sounds from far away. Outside the space that you're in, or sounds a little bit closer, perhaps in the room or the immediate environment. Noticing any smells or tastes. Perhaps the temperature of the air on your skin, or the humidity. It's quite humid here today. And just focusing on that quality of air as it comes in the nostrils. Not changing the breath just yet, just noticing. Noticing if the breath feels strained or difficult. I know sometimes I have some breathing difficulties on high humidity days. So just noticing how it feels. We'll begin to deepen the breath now. So as you inhale, try to notice the passage of air as it comes in the nostrils and hits the back of the throat. Just noticing that sensation of cool air through the nostrils to the back of the throat. And then you might take your hands and bring them to the chest. Take a deep breath in and see if you can feel the chest rising against your hands. And just sigh that all out. So following that passage of air in the nostrils to the back of the throat and into the chest. And one more. Beautiful. Don't you feel calmer already? We're only on part 1 of our 3-part breath here, so I already feel a lot better. Okay, so take your hands now and bring them to the ribs, the rib cage. And we're going to be doing a bit of a deeper breath to see if we can feel the spaces, the intercostal spaces, the spaces between the ribs expanding and contracting with the breath. Okay, so deep breath in. All the way down to the lower lungs. Cool air in, warm air out. And one more. Okay, that's part 2 of our 2-part breath. Let's go to number 3. So number 3 is the belly. So some people find that when they breathe in, their belly sucks in towards the spine, and some people find that it actually bows out. So why don't you put your hands on your belly and see which one of these breathing types you are. It might change from day to day too, so just see. Sometimes when yoga teachers cue this breath, they talk about the belly inflating, but sometimes it's different in other people's bodies. So let's see what kind of breather you are. All right, so hands on the belly, deep breath and breathe all the way down to the belly, the deepest breath you've taken all day today. And sigh it out. Let the shoulders fall down away from the ears. Deep breath in. And a final breath. Wonderful. Okay, so let's stay in our little meditation for a moment here. And I just want you to scan down through the body. So keep your eyes closed if they're closed, or sort of half closed if that's more comfortable for you. And begin at the tip or the crown of the head. And let your attention just float down from that point, down throughout the body, softening the eyebrows, the eyelids, letting the jaw fall away from the upper teeth, relaxing the muscles of the face. Relaxing the muscles of the neck, letting the shoulders fall down and away from the ears. Feeling the chest and the belly rising and falling with the breath. Noticing any tension or strain. Letting your awareness float down to the belly and the hips. We carry a lot of tension in our hips, especially if you do a lot of sitting. So noticing if anything feels tight or out of alignment. And sending your awareness down the legs, to the knees, calves, ankles, and the feet. awareness back up to the shoulders, where we carry most of our tension in the neck. Perhaps on the in-breath, bringing them up to the ears. Exhale, let them slide down the back body. Deep breath in. Making little circles as if a swimmer would with the shoulders. Letting your awareness float down the biceps to the elbows, forearms, wrists, hands and fingers. Maybe interlacing the fingers and pressing them away from you. And just noticing what it feels like to be in your body today. Noticing any pain or tension, and not trying to fight it, just letting it be. You might start to circle the neck a little bit if you've been slumped over your computer or your phone or your steering wheel all day today. Circling in one direction and the next. And then coming back to center. So you might be wondering why on International Yoga Day we've been doing meditation and no yoga. So you might be interested to learn that the physical postures of yoga, so what we commonly see as like fitness yoga, is actually just one part of the yoga tradition. So yoga is a cultural tradition and a lifestyle practice that originated in India about 5,000 or more years ago. It's hard to tell with such a long historical record. It does share some elements with religions like Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. Just certain ideas about the universe and how we should live our lives. But yoga itself is not a religion, it's a way of life. So yes, the postures are just one of 8 commonly known parts of yoga. And meditation is like several of them, at least 3 of them. So it's important for us to calm our minds as well as relaxing our body, which meditation does help to do. The word yoga actually means to yoke. When I think of that, I think of, like yoking oxen. And that can be thought of in different ways. We can be uniting the mind, the body, and the spirit, which we can do in several ways through the practice of yoga. But I also think of it as a way for us to unite with the universe and with each other, and remind us of the interconnectedness of all things, which is therapeutic in itself. So that's pretty wonderful. And there's been a lot of benefits to yoga that have been scientifically proven in the past, couple decades. But obviously, people have known for much, much longer that yoga has many benefits to offer us, and that's why it has stuck around for so long. So for the next couple Mindful Mondays, we will be exploring the 8 limbs of yoga and the yamas and the niyamas, which I will explain later. They're personal observances or attitudes of how we react to our inner world and our outer world. So we'll explore those in the next couple Mindful Mondays. And we'll also just always have a little bit of mindfulness like we just practiced. A little meditation to include some breath work and some body awareness. And if you have never really practiced mindfulness before, it really is just tuning in to the present moment. We often spend so much time worrying about the future or getting caught up on what happened in the past that we forget that the only time we are actually alive and living is right now in this very moment. So it's important for us to tune into that magic, to be awake and aware and fully experience our consciousness just right as we are. And that's where we can be the most happy and the most alive. And that's really what yoga has taught me as someone who's, constantly worrying. I struggle with anxiety and I have struggled with depression. And the gift of the present moment really is so simple but so life-changing, and I hope to share that with you throughout these Mindful Mondays and through my own yoga teaching journey. I would also really love to discuss what is preventing you from doing yoga. This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately as I, start my yoga teaching journey. I've been discussing with friends and family. I said, oh, I'm teaching yoga. You should come for a class. And they're like, oh, no, I can't do yoga. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't do yoga? Like, everybody can do yoga in some way. Not necessarily just like the physical parts, but meditation or even, the physical parts. We can modify yoga poses for every body. It's totally possible. But I hear a lot like, oh, I'm not flexible enough. I saw a quote, I wish I remember who it was from, I'll have to look it up, but saying you're not flexible enough to do yoga is like saying you're too dirty for a bath. So yoga is going to solve the problem of your flexibility. Like, the bath is going to solve the problem of you being too dirty. Like, if you're worried about hurting yourself, there's lots of different ways for us to do the poses that are accessible, inclusive for all bodies, and they'll help you to actually gain strength, gain flexibility, and you'll be amazed, if you've never really done any sort of mindfulness type experiences, of what it can do for your nervous system, and how it can bring you from this place of anxiety and overwhelm that we live so often in this type of society, that we forget how to feel like content and relaxed. And we're always reaching for substances or distractions like Netflix and a glass of wine at the end of the day. But there's other ways that are much simpler and much more fulfilling and much healthier for you to achieve that relaxation than looking outside of yourself. I know it's so scary sometimes to turn inwards and to look at what's inside you and to actually fully integrate and deal with your emotions. It's not something that we're taught to do growing up in our society anymore. And sometimes we're just so afraid to really feel anything. And that's kind of sad. So my journey in yoga here has been for me to explore those scary emotions and to hold myself in a place of compassion and to really learn who I am as a person and what my values are. And as a teacher, I really hope to help you to connect with your true self and to hold that space for you to do so, and to provide a safe container and a safe a form of guidance for you to maybe experience some things that maybe you haven't before. So it's not just about being bendy and posting pictures on Instagram. To me, that's not what yoga is, and to some people it might be, and that's fine if that's what they get out of it. But there really is just so many other deep layers that yoga can bring to you, and I'm so excited to be here every Monday talking to you about it. And I wish you a happy International Yoga Day. I was gonna get a practice together ready for you, but I've had a kind of a busy week. So I invite you to head on over to my YouTube channel. The links are in my bio on Facebook and Instagram, and there's a bunch of practices there, so you can check those out and do a little yoga practice for your International Yoga Day. I also do classes live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can check those out at my website, www.yoganaraska.com/classes, and we can do a practice there. If you are too busy on those nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you can also join in to my newsletter, my email newsletter. There's also a link in my bio for that. And you'll get an email once a month with just some updates on what's going on here at YogaNaraska, and at least an hour of free yoga, including some asana, some physical postures, as well as some meditation and yoga nidra. So I would love to be your yoga guide. I would love if you could also list in the comments some reasons that you believe that you cannot do yoga, or what stops you from doing yoga. Maybe it is that fear of looking silly in front of other people, which online yoga totally gets around. Maybe it is the fear that you're not flexible enough, which we discussed. Or maybe you're just unconsciously afraid of dealing with those inner emotions. I totally get that. I've been resistant to my yoga practice for a long time because I was afraid of what I would find if I turned inward. But I promise it's really not as scary as you think. So I'd love to hear any other reasons that you might have, or some myths that you might have about yoga. And I'd love to discuss them next week during Mindful Monday. So leave me a note in the comments, say hello. Yep, you're welcome to join my yoga practices on YouTube or sign up for some of my classes, and I would love to see you soon. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. I always forget how to turn lives off.